And a good spiritual morning to you once again. Thanks for joining us today for a quick chat. And of course, our morning cup of coffee.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being with us. We hope that you are having a very nice week.
Yep. It's, we said almost summer in terms of, well, not the calendar, but it's summer. The kids are out of school or getting out of school soon.
Yeah. Graduations, congratulations
Congratulations
if you have graduates.
to our graduates.
Anybody. It's a good time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun time. It's summer. Summer's coming, let's say. And so we thought we'd talk a little bit about how we utilize travel for sort of a spiritual reset, because it's important to have an emotional and spiritual reset. Summer's great for that.
Yeah, it is.
And so a lot of us make our big travel plans.
Yeah, you've probably already bought your tickets.
Yeah, if you're going to Europe or if you're going abroad, it's so pretentious, but I love saying that. If you are traveling abroad, then you've probably made your plans already. So then in your situation, utilize those travel plans to sort of try to find and reconnect with God. Wherever you go, there's usually opportunities for that because there's beauty everywhere.
Summer's in blossom that you really do. Sunsets, natural wonders.
Right. The beauty of nature. There might be beautiful natural. I mean, a lot of people go to Greece.
Right.
Greece has a lot of natural beauty and sort of seeing God in that, finding amidst whatever else you're going to do, try to build into your schedule a little time for just downtime, just to reconnect with God in a spiritual way. A change of scenery is amazing. A vast change of scenery can give you a whole perspective, new perspective. And so in that, just trying to schedule some time. If there's local beauty, if there's local, you might go sightseeing.
Right.
But apart from like going to the local shopping marketplaces and just spending money, maybe try to look at sites and, different things, natural things, even if they are man-built, sort of. They can be a lot older than the stuff that we have here in our neighborhoods in America. So.
I found one year we were living on the East Coast, and something that was really beautiful that we did with the kids in the summer, which, like you're saying, you don't have to, we're not going to Europe. So something you could do locally is we were riding our bikes a lot, and we found forest preserves and ponds and lakes. The phones were not out. We didn't have earbuds in. That's another part of this travel thing that we want to be able to hear the silence. We want to be able to hear the ocean or different sounds. There was something very simple about doing things outside that were local, didn't cost a lot of money, but still made me feel wonder. I love riding bikes and I love seeing forest preserves and big trees.
Okay, so maybe that's the second point.
Did I jump ahead?
No, I never do that.
I did not know you were going to do that.
Yeah. Well, you can tell we don't script these. You can tell I sort of have a plan in my head, and then we get on here, and then that gets blown to pieces.
And then I take a left turn.
Yes.
Tell me what you were thinking, Father.
Well, I was starting by saying those of us that have made our big plans, we've done them in advance to try to sort of say, as part of that, find ways of incorporating a spiritual reset. If you're in Europe somewhere or wherever you are, go see a local church, whatever church that is. It was probably built 500 years ago. Go check it out. Go see it. Find a way. Go outside of the town, outside of the village. Plan a trip for a day. Go up to the mountains. Go out to a lake. Go somewhere. Go to the ocean.
Yeah.
And when you're there, you can see God in a lot of those things, and you can reconnect. You can clear your mind. You got to get out of the day-to-day grind of things. And those are our big plans. What you're saying was my next point. I'm just taking too long to get there, which is if you haven't made big plans, it's probably too late for you to make those huge plans. And not everybody can go to Europe.
Or get on a plane.
Not everybody can go to Crete every year.
I wish I could.
Right. We all do. We can't all go to Greece every year. But make plans locally, right? Just make smaller plans. You don't have to go abroad. You can still make a trip. First, this is a big country.
Yeah.
There's lots of places to go in this country that you can go to for a pretty reasonable amount of money. You don't have to take 3 weeks off to go do it. Sometimes just
can't do that.
I mean, we've gone someplace and literally we've been gone 48 hours. And when you get into a grind, and you get into a rut, we've left and been gone 48 hours. We come back and I said, how long were we gone?
It
Because
felt great.
it felt like 10 days.
Yeah.
48 hours felt like 10 days.
A change of scenery is very important for our mindset. Yeah.
First, if you're not going abroad, this is a big country. There's parts of this country I've never been to, and I've driven across this country.
We have driven across
several
the country.
times, all the way across coast to coast.
We were young
I've
and
driven.
stupid, yeah.
But I've like never been really to the Pacific Northwest. I've never really been like spent time in the South.
Right.
And we've lived in the Midwest. We've lived on both coasts, but I haven't been. We've lived. I haven't been everywhere. So that's the first thing. You can jump on a plane. You can get a ticket for a couple $100 sometimes. You can go someplace, get a deal in a hotel. But even if you can't do that, just locally, road trips are great. Like growing up, my vacations.
We did a lot of road trips.
We did road trips just because, and not long road trips. Although one time we did drive to New York from Los Angeles because then we flew to Greece.
Oh, that'll give you trauma. Don't remember that trip.
That's fine. My childhood is full of trauma. It's made me the well-adjusted adult that I am today. You shouldn't laugh that hard at that. You shouldn't almost spit out your coffee when I say I'm well-adjusted. She knows the truth. No, but I grew up in LA. So our standard vacations, because there were 7 of us, 7 kids, plus my parents, 9 of us. Yeah. We weren't buying tickets to go to Acapulco because we didn't have the money. We just drove up and down the California coast.
Beautiful.
And so you go up 101. The one, sometimes my mom didn't like going on the one. It's right on the water with the cliffs. But you can find a way wherever you are to find stuff that's around you. Jump in the car and take road trips, take day trips, go overnight, go someplace around, just to have that change of scenery, just to have that sort of hit the reset button.
Yeah, people love camping. Talk about a wonderful way to connect. We're not big campers, but people do love camping.
Growing up, we had kind of an RV, a motorhome that we would take for these trips. So we were kind of camping.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that. I'm not a tent person.
I wouldn't say that it was like glamping. Is that glamping? Is that what you call it?
Oh, that was not glamping. I've seen that motorhome.
Camping. Yeah. Hey, it was it wasn't what do they call a push bus. No. It wasn't like a big, amazing thing.
But
it was
it brought you memories.
Old from the 1970s motorhome but we could jump in. Half the time it would break down, but we could jump in and drive up the coast, go to a state beach where you could park overnight at the time for like $8. And, or you could find an RV park that you got hookups so you could get your electrical and your water and your sanitary line hooked up. And that was like, $30 a night or something at the time. Yeah. And so you could go up and down the coast and we could see these amazing things. Yeah. So it was kind of camping. It wasn't like we were going to hotels. We couldn't really afford that. But the whole tents and real like legit camping.
It's just not our
my back can't do that.
But they're in California. I've seen that people at school, people at church, a lot of people love it. And I think that's amazing to be able to see the stars and to be able to be out. Can I go on a tangent for a second? One of my favorite memories.
I would be surprised if you did not.
So when we lived in the Midwest, we were blessed that our friends had a house on a lake that was just about an hour north of us in Wisconsin. And some of my favorite memories are, like you said, to find God in nature. I also found gratitude in vacations because the noise was gone. And I remember sitting on the sand and the kids were playing in this lake.
Okay, you'll explain.
I'm going to explain.
I'm confused.
Yeah. And the lake was so great because it was shallow for about 50 yards. And that was really kind of neat when a lake does that. And so the kids, even at a young age, could play up into their waist and I remember just sitting on the beach being so grateful for my children, for my family, for this moment, for the ability to be together without the hustle and bustle of the rest of the year was quite busy.
Well, that's the clarity, I think, and perspective, because you've had a change in scenery. Yeah. Because otherwise, it's kind of like during the regular year, weather's not great. We're not doing a lot. Although we're blessed in California to be able to do things throughout the year. But there's still some kind of seasons. There's a wet season and a dry season. It's like Africa out here. And I can say that because I'm from here.
Right.
But it's kind of like you get into that grind, you just put your head down and you're just plowing forward.
Yeah, you have a schedule.
Yeah, and you're just doing your thing. And this is kind of like lift your head up a little bit, and sort of take a look out from your regular routine, and it gives you perspective. And so you have moments to be like, we'd like to be grateful all the time.
Right.
We struggle with that sometimes because we're just doing our thing, our heads down, and we're just, whatever our routine is, we're in that routine. So get a change of scenery, gives you some perspective, gives you gratitude.
It's lovely.
Gives you, helps you reconnect. That's what we're saying, reconnect with Christ and reconnect, have a reset spiritually to do all of the things to be the way that we want to be. You go on vacation, you relax, like your shoulders drop. The shoulders just drop. Your neck relaxes a little bit. And you can be more kind. You can be more patient. You can be more loving. And then you come back. You can be more grateful. And then you can carry that into your day-to-day life and be the person that you want to be all the time.
Build up the bank account, right?
Right. To have that reserve. Those are like your cash reserves of how you're going to be able to continue, then come back to your day-to-day grind. Now, it's important to do that throughout the year, but summer's a great time.
It is.
Because the weather lends itself, especially if you're camping, right? This is when you don't want to, you don't want to camp in the wintertime if you're in certain parts of the country. Now you can do whatever you want to do. And if you're not a camper, like I'm not a camper, then you make your plans and you say, well, we're just going to do a day trip. Sometimes it's just a day trip. And sometimes it's just get in the car. Who goes for a drive anymore? Sometimes it's just get in a car and go for a drive and just have a change. Just get out of the house. Get out of the same 3 rooms that you see 24 hours a day some days. Just get out of those.
Office, kitchen,
bedroom, bathroom, living room. Like the essentials. Where's the food? Where's the toilet? Where's the TV? And we kind of just, circle in those rooms.
Exciting.
Get out of that and have a sort of change of scenery. It's important to do. And it's interesting that you see the saints doing that. The saints taking pilgrimages. Of course, the saints aren't going and camping and just but they do from time to time for a reset. You see them going to Jerusalem, going to their monastery, leaving the world, and they do it regularly and they have it scheduled. So you might think, well, wait a minute, why are they spending money on that? If they know that they should be giving everything to the church or but they value it enough to know it's necessary, it's required to re-energize, to renew, right? And to revitalize themselves, that they go see a holy site or they go to a holy place.
Venerate relics. Or whatever
or they go see a holy person themselves as a peer. And they spend time doing that. So that's what's so amazing. So if they need it, and they're giving the example.
They're our example,
Then we need it. And it can be from the top down, all the way, like we said. If you've bought your tickets to Greece from 8 months ago and you're planning to go there, that's great. When you're there, you're in Greece. There's a church every 10 feet.
Light a candle for me.
Light a candle for us. Say a prayer for us. But go find, the local monastery, I guarantee you, wherever you are,
your itinerary.
There's a local saint. Like wherever you are, say, well, go ask around. Where are the saints? Where are the relics? Where's the site? And go and find it and see it. Or just when you're at the beach, just sort of see the beauty in it and just contemplate, God's love and reconnect and be thankful, like you said, and be grateful.
In the silence. And
if you're not doing that, just get in the car and go somewhere locally and just get a change of scenery and reset and reconnect.
Beautiful.
And those are ways that we, like we say, reconnect with Christ. And we get closer to him, and we do that each and every day.
Amen.